Now then, who is it? Who is it? And you're hearing so many different team names. You're hearing so many different ones. We know it's not the Los Angeles Chargers because they were the team that was in it all the way to the end, right? They were the ones who sent out the tweet. We're not, Tom and I, we and Tom are not going to be a team. And that's when it's just like, oh God, so then what's it going to be? And then it came out he's going to the Bucs like 5 minutes later. That's the way it all happened a couple of Marches ago.
Right.
So it can't be the Los Angeles Chargers that they weren't interested. They were interested all the way to the end. And so the MF'er can't be Tyrod Taylor, who was that quarterback at the time. I mean, they wanted him. They were ready to go. But Tom said he wanted to go east. He wanted to stay east. So let's use that now as a template, if that's what's to be believed, even though he said 90% of the stuff that he says is just to cover tracks and hide the true intention and feelings. So all that said, maybe that's the 10% that's true. He doesn't want to stay east. Could the Raiders have been that team? He's referring to Derek Carr in that manner. Possibly. I believe that more than the Saints. And I say this with all due respect. I think our friend Jeff Darlington says it's the Saints. And he's got a ton of contacts. He's got his ear to the ground. And I don't discount what he's thinking or hearing. That's not my sense of it. That's not my belief that he's not referring to Drew Brees in that manner. He's just not. Like you were sticking with Drew Brees. I don't think he would refer to Drew Brees in that manner at all.
We're also assuming that this MF is a derogatory term.
It is, because it is. It's a derogatory term.
But maybe in the way that Brady's using it, it's kind of a joking thing.
No, I think the way that
instead of calling him your buddy, you're calling him my MF'er.
No, you're saying like I can't believe like you're telling me you're no longer interested in me and you're sticking with that guy who doesn't have the ability to hold his jock. That is absolutely the manner in which he is saying it. And that's the way we're taking it.
But nobody can hold Brady's jock. Like, that's kind of the point. Like, he's one of one.
Yeah, but he still has respect enough for, like, Rodgers and Breeze and other fellow GOATs, I believe. Like,
maybe not.
But I guess you could, then, Chris, with that attitude, then you could believe anybody could be the person that he's referring to. I mean, he's not going to go on HBO.
There were only a handful of teams that were actually in the
think
mix,
it's the Saints?
I don't think you can rule it out.
Well, like, obviously, I'm just, I guess, putting it in a pecking order.
I'm just saying that an East Coast team with a chance to win the Super Bowl, that would be the Saints.
Well, they're in the Gulf South. They're not on the East Coast. What are you talking about?
Eastern time zone. I mean,
are we starting that again?
I don't mean to bog us down here, but because honestly, you could refer to anything in any way if you're not believing them. Like, you have to believe that that's a derogatory term before we even continue this venture
on
here.
The quote, though, he said it kind of jokingly. I guess I'm just willing to give Brady the benefit of the doubt that maybe that's a term of endearment that he uses for some of his close friends.
Shocking.
Okay. I'll place that aside. That's not the way I'm viewing it. I'm viewing it as it's a very derogatory term, and that he actually says, I'm going to F you up when I see you next time. So, I mean, I'm putting it all together, and I'm saying that he was not pleased that this team essentially told him at the end, we're no longer interested in you.
But also, by that vein, wouldn't that fit the Saints since he went to the Bucs and they're in the same division?
No, because the Saints were kicking the tires on Breeze, and I think Breeze was coming back.
Okay.
I don't believe the Saints. I don't believe it's them. And I don't believe it's the Bears either. How does that sound? Because if he's going to screw you up and he's going to come, F you up, he's not going to forget how many downs there were against them the next time he sees them.
True.
Although part of that was because he wasn't being protected in that game. Khalil Mack was all over his grill and in his lap. I don't think it's the Bears either. I just get that sense that it's not Chicago and it's not the Saints. That's my spidey sense on it. Because they were both also central time zones. Did he really want to play in the freezing cold? I don't think he wanted to go there anyway. I don't think he thought that was ready-made for him, similar to what Tampa was.
It seemed like he was done with the cold and all the weather.
Here's the one that I think it is. Because it matches a quarterback that he feels would not be in his area code, let alone jock carrying. despite how well he's played over the last couple of years. Do you remember, Chris, before the pandemic, Brady and Edelman were at a Syracuse basketball game?
I do remember that.
Do you remember what they were doing at that Syracuse basketball game? They were on a phone.
They were on the phone.
Remember who they were on the phone with?
I do remember that.
Remember who they were FaceTiming with, and it was supposedly much ado about nothing?
They're FaceTiming with Mike Vrabel.
That's the one. East Coast.
Interesting.
Not too far from New England, actually closer. They interested? They were absolutely interested. There's no question the Titans were interested. There's no question in my mind that FaceTime call had to have something to do with what, just checking in, just saying hi. Oh, really, Edelman? You're
you're here too.
Oh, wow, you guys are at the basketball game. What are you doing there?
Right.
Oh, I just saw you on TV. Let me just FaceTime you guys, just as a friend. I think it's the Titans. And that they made a decision they're going to stick with Tannehill.
Yeah.
He played very well. They were going to sign him to a free agent deal. And it's going to be their guy for a long time to come. Not somebody that's going to be year to year, potentially. And I think Brady was interested in kicking the tires on Vrabel. I think for sure. Everybody keeps forgetting the Titans because we just like that bright, shiny object that he was MF'ing Jimmy Garoppolo or Foles or, Trubisky.
Derek Carr.
Or in your case, Drew Brees.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's the Titans.
You know who it's
I
not?
don't have any, rock solid evidence. I just have a gut. I have what other people in the league are saying and feeling and thinking. That's just the way I've been.
Well, putting all the pieces together, I mean, logically, I guess it fits.
When his book comes out, it'll be in there.
I don't know about that.
Brady's book, you mean?
Why not? Why wouldn't it be in there?
I don't know.
See, when you write a book, as you know, Rich, because of you being a published author yourself, you're going to go on these media tours and you're going to spill all the tea.
But what's the point for that? A book? I don't know. I think his tea's going to be spilled in the same way that Jordan did his Last Dance. Brady's going to have his 10-part documentary.
All right, well,
that's the way I view it.
It'll be part 4 of the 10-parter.
The only book that I think he's going to talk about, the only book he'll put out there is the book that promotes his TB12 system.
Yeah. TB12.
I don't think he's going to write down or have, somebody ghostwrite his history. I just don't. I don't know. But I guess we're all full in conjecture right now.
The team that, Vrabel, former teammate, but the team that knocked him out and ended his reign in New England, he's going to go join them now?
Yeah, because he's tight with Mike, right? Nothing personal.
Yeah, nothing personal.
And they had a team that could actually win. We when the Titans were mentioned as a possibility for Brady, I don't think anybody thought that would be a terrible place for him to go. I thought it was a viable option for him. I thought
massive run game, take pressure off him as he's getting older.
And who better to play for in his final years than the guy who would catch touchdown passes from him?
8 for 8.
Right?
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Comfort level.
Makes total sense.
If the East Coast and being close to, the East Coast and family was important to him right there in Nashville.
I'd forgotten about the FaceTime. That's a really important
I just remember that.
All of this,
that was lit. And everyone's like, it was nothing. It was just crazy. Don't read anything into it, even though Tom is up for grabs. We forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.